News 10.
Right now at noon, we are continuing to follow our big story out of Lee County, where 7 inmates have been killed. Another 17 had to be treated following what authorities are calling an inmate-on-inmate altercation. Names and pictures of the men involved have just been released. These are the 7 who were killed overnight. They are Corey Scott, Cornelius McClary, Damonte Rivera, Eddie Gaskins, Joshua Jenkins, Michael Milledge, and Raymond Scott. Department of Corrections officials actually say multiple crews responded to the incident at the prison last night. We're told everything happened around 7:15, but officials say the prison was secure again just before 3 this morning. So obviously a long time to get this under control. We want to go live to our Paul Rivera, who is in Bishopville, just outside of Lee Correctional, with the very latest on the incident. Paul, what do you know?
Well, Mary, aside from learning about the inmates and their identities, we have also found out that there's going to be a press conference. It's going to be held by Governor Henry McMaster. That's happening at 1:30 at the South Carolina Department of Corrections headquarters in Columbia. From there, we could maybe shed more light, start to piece together really what happened here in those initial moments, what led up to all this going on. But as far as officials, they tell us that the facility right behind me was secured at 2:55 in the morning, but the altercation started just after 7 last night. So there's a big span of time right there. To give you a quick background on Lee Correctional Institution, it's a level 3 facility. It's the largest of its kind in the state, which DLC says it's designed to mainly house violent offenders with longer sentences and inmates who exhibit behavior problems. There are just over 1,200 inmates here at last report, and there have been several reported deaths at the facility dating back to August. But again, that press conference, 1:30 at the Department of Corrections headquarters. Governor McMaster will be there to possibly shed more light on what exactly happened here and what led up to those moments. Reporting in Lee County, Paul Rivera, WIS News 10.
All right, thank you, Paul. And if you remember, we have reported that several inmates at that facility have been killed over the last several months. Let's take you through a timeline here. Back in February of this year, reports say an inmate was killed after a fight. In November of last year, in 2017, we know an inmate was stabbed to death at Lee Correctional. And in August of 2017, an inmate was found with a stab wound to his arm. We later learned that he bled to death. Again, we are waiting for that press conference coming up on this incident at 1:30. That's going to happen here in Columbia at the Department of Corrections headquarters. We will bring you that live as soon as it's happening on air and online. Reaction pouring in from around the community surrounding the Lee Correctional Institution. We actually spoke to some people today who say they're concerned about the strings of violence that seem to happen often at Lee Correctional.
My child goes to Lee Central High School, which is about a mile from the prison. I have never been comfortable that the prison has been that close with all the riots that they have always had.
It's not the person. I don't even think it's going to be the last. Every year there's something going on over there. They escape, they're killing one another in there. They're not taking care of them.